Hello everyone, Risky Toothpick here, back again with some more Agatha Christie's Murder on the Orient Express, and as you can see, we are still here, hunting down a 13th murderer, and I'm probably as surprised as you are, because I thought the game would have ended with us, catching those 12 murderers, but nope. There's one more we have to try to catch. And we're back on the train. Let's see what we need to do here. So we need to interrogate a couple of the murderers and see what they can do. Also, check out... Man, playing on a PS5 controller sometimes is a little wonky. 2 mustaches hidden about. We gotta try to find them. Okay, well, I'm not gonna go to second class just yet. Okay, that's our room. Don't see a mustache. $205. Well, at least they're not dead. The Great Gatsby. The family heirloom that we don't have to worry about.
Doctor, I need to question Countess Andrény.
I'm afraid that won't be possible, Mr. Poirot. The Countess had an anxiety attack when we arrived in Venice. She was terrified the police would come for her and her husband, despite how you concluded your investigation. I had to give her a sedative. She has been sleeping since.
You have stayed with her all the time we were in Venice?
Count Andrény begged me to watch over her. I have not left this room.
You're the reason she's in this state.
Book voted to absolve you all. I accepted his verdict.
I told her. I tried to reason with her. What she has already suffered, the strain of these last few days, it was too much.
I understand, Count. It's quite all right. I have the answers I came for.
We know she wasn't involved. Alright, let's look for the mustache. It might be in here. You never know. Oh, yep, look at that. In the sink.
Another delightful trophy for my collection.
Trying to be sneaky.
Ah, Michel, I have a few more questions to ask you, if you will allow me.
Anything, Monsieur Poirot. We are in your debt.
Alrighty, so we want to figure out what he's been doing in Venice and his timeline of Ratchet's murder night.
Please tell me your movements when we were stopped at Venice Station.
Once the compartments were cleaned and the linen refreshed, I stayed in my quarters.
Did you notice anything special? Comings and goings?
Monsieur Bouc had asked everyone to stay in their compartments. I would occasionally walk the train to ensure everyone was comfortable. Oh, I saw Monsieur Maury was all alone loading his crates of provisions. A great chef like that, reduced to petty labor, I would have helped him. But Monsieur Bouc had ordered me not to leave the train for any reason. So, Monsieur Maury was forced to labor alone.
Interesting. Been working real hard.
Let us review the actual timeline of the night of Ratchet's murder, not the one manufactured to hide your crime.
I left the train in Minkowski for a smoke. Then I resumed my post. That was the truth. The train departed on schedule. But then, of course, an avalanche of snow blocked the tracks. At 12:45, Madame Hubbard and I met in her compartment to discuss how to adapt our plan.
Due to the snow and Poirot.
The little play we had staged for you had to be rewritten. I left her compartment at approximately 1:15.
Then the curtain went up. Calls in the night, the red kimono, all for my benefit.
And all for nothing, as it turned out.
Do not blame yourself, Michel. I am the theater critic no playwright wants to see in the audience.
Alrighty. Done with his interrogation. Who else do we need to interrogate? Mr. Maury, Mr. Faucher, Miss Nielsen. Alrighty. They should be this way towards the bar. Alright, mustache, where are you? You can't hide from me. Actually, with my luck in this game, it will avoid me. I'm pretty good about getting one or two of them, but that... So there's like only 2 mustaches here. I usually will not get that second one.
You play well. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Thank you. Many years of piano lessons thanks to my mother. I try to play in a few clubs in Paris when I get the chance, but as you can see, it hasn't made me rich. What can I do for you?
Conversation only.
Alright, so we gotta figure out what he's doing. He has a knife, and then his timeline.
Tell me about your time in Venice.
I had Monsieur Book's permission to see my sister. She lives in Marghera, just outside of Venice. She had a baby a few weeks ago. This was my first chance to meet my new nephew.
Monsieur Book gave you permission?
Yes, you can ask him.
Most assuredly, I will. What time did you leave, and when did you return?
I left around 9:10 p.m. I was back by 10:45 p.m. When I got back, Hotaru was in a lot of pain. I gave him a back massage.
That would have been enough time to kill Monsieur Wadi and return to the train.
Oh, so he could be involved.
May I see your knives?
Of course, they are here.
If you don't mind.
Help yourself. They are under the bar counter.
And now his timeline.
Tell me again about your poker game the night of the murder.
It's a regular game to help relax after a long day. Let's see, we started around 11 p.m. We took a short break in Vinkovsky, Hotaru, Pierre, and I. The game finished up around 2 a.m. We'd all had quite a bit to drink. Ah, yes, I left for about 10 minutes to refrigerate champagne for the next day. That must have been around 1 a.m.
So he could have been involved. His timeline does allow him the opportunity.
None of these come close to the wounds on either body.
But time to keep on moving. Honestly, I've checked these restrooms. At one time there was a mustache, but probably no more. You probably need to talk to Book.
You told Fauché he could go into Venice?
Marghera, actually. Not so far away. It was his only chance to see his sister. He's been working every trade for weeks. There is never time to see the new baby.
Enough, Book. Your heart does you credit, but your common sense, it...
I know. But it's fine. Isn't it? He did come back.
Oh, it's fine, as you say. Unless he saw the baby, then killed someone else and returned to the train.
But that's monstrous.
Murder is always monstrous, my friend.
Yeah. Mistakes were made. And we'll talk to, who is this? Hattori, I think? What is this? Afferano?
Saffron. It must be worth a small fortune.
Saffron, but he's got it named a little different.
Good evening, Monsieur Mori. May I have a moment of your time? I have a few questions to ask you.
Of course, as long as you don't mind if dinner is ruined.
I promise to be as brief as possible.
Same thing that we asked the other guy.
What did you do while we were stopped in Venice?
With Freya's help, I loaded fresh produce for the next part of our journey. Then, you may not believe this, but my job requires a lot of physical labor. My back suffers. Fortunately, Jean has become quite adept at separating my vertebrae.
That sounds about right. He did get a massage.
As you may know, I have solved the murder of Monsieur Ratchet.
That is a shame.
I beg your pardon?
The bastard sent my steak tartar back. telling John I was to burn it.
I will add it to the list of his crimes. One wound on Monsieur Ratchet's body was struck by a very sharp, thin-bladed knife. We haven't found it yet.
You think one of mine was used?
I'd like to have a look, if you don't mind.
In that drawer.
An impressive set of knives. But their blades are too wide to have been used for the crime.
And now his timeline.
Tell me about your poker game the night of the murder.
We started around 11 p.m. When John finished his shift. We played until around 2 a.m. From what I remember, it's a bit vague.
You played without a break.
Actually, we did break once for a smoke. John, Pierre, and I. When we stopped in Vinkovsky.
When was that?
Around midnight?
Thank you for your information. And now we just need to talk to the woman who, I think the woman might be involved. Ooh, what's that? A feather.
A black feather. That reminds me of something.
Yeah, maybe the costume that was used had a feather. So we might as well check all these rooms.
The box is secured by some sort of locking mechanism. The design is formed by 3 commas. What is the word in Japanese? Tamoe. And it's obviously missing a piece.
All right, so it looks like we need to find a little item. Oh, at least that door's unlocked now. I'm guessing the piece that we're missing is somewhere in here. See if we can find it. Oh, well, we got the mustache.
Come to Poirot, my exquisitely sculpted friend.
I'm surprised we actually found them all.
Good evening, Mademoiselle Nielsen. May I talk to you for a moment?
Of course, Mr. Poirot. I'm not going to bed right away.
Can you tell me your movements while we were stopped in Venice?
That'll be easy. I didn't move much at all. Let's see. I helped Hotaru load all of the food crates aboard the train. Hotaru had everything he needed, but I realized they forgot half of my order. I spent over an hour on the phone with the supplier without success. I had to change the dessert menu for tomorrow.
So she had about an hour to go do whatever she wanted.
Dr. Constantine found a stab wound on Ratchet's body that was caused by a much thinner and sharper blade than the others.
Possibly a chef's knife?
My thought, precisely.
And you'd like to see my knives?
If you wouldn't mind.
I would gladly show you if I had any, but I don't. I use the regular kitchen knives. You may search if you don't believe me.
I see.
All the knives the staff use are in the kitchen or in the lounge, except...
Except?
Hotaru prefers to use his own.
Monsieur Mori doesn't use the kitchen knives?
Not usually. I know he keeps a set of traditional Japanese knives in a box in his room. He doesn't let anyone else use them. Although now that I think of it, he has been using the kitchen knives lately.
Interesting. She could either, be giving us a lead, or she could be trying to throw us off.
Can you tell me exactly about your poker game the night of the murder?
We started around 11 p.m. In Vinkovsky, we took a short break. Hotaru and Pierre went outside to smoke. Oh, and Hotaru got sick around a few minutes past 1 a.m. 1:10 a.m. maybe? He spent about 15 minutes in the bathroom, but he didn't want to quit on a losing streak.
Did his luck improve?
No, so we played to around 2 a.m. He lost every hand.
And now he has a little bit more time to cause a murder.
I've talked to everyone, but some elements of the testimonies do not seem to correspond. I need to recheck a few things.
There we go. Check the knives of Mr. Mori. We gotta somehow figure out where the key is for it. I guess it might be in here. Oh no, we got ourselves a big puzzle here. Okay. Oh, so we got like a rose thing there. Another rose thing. Yeah, let's figure out what we gotta do here. Yeah, so we've done that. We've done that as well. Oh, there's a piece on top. Oh. Okay. You can probably go back there. Yeah, that wouldn't do anything. That doesn't make much sense either, but we can actually move that. Oh, we got it. I'm like, what am I doing?
An object that looks like a broken comma. It must be part of something else. An object that look.
Yeah, we already got it, so take that. Now we can get in to his knife set. It could have been that knife. Right here.
Colteria Venezia.
That's kind of like the only one I think that would actually work.
Sushi knives. Razor sharp. Sushi knife. Sushi knife.
Just making sure there's nothing like unique.
Sushi.
Nope. Alrighty. Can never be too sure. Train staff alibis for the murder. Select 2 elements that give the staff an alibi for the time of murder. Miss Nielsen did not leave the train in Vinkovci, so she was alone in the crew quarters. These two should be together.
Think, Poirot. That is not a good answer.
It's 12:45, 1:15.
I do not think that's the right answer.
Well, what about these two? Mr. Mori reboarded the train at 1:10 a.m. when Pierre Michel was not watching the corridor. Are we sure these two don't go together? Oh yeah, they do. I'm gonna say Mr. Faucher boarded the train at 12:55 a.m. when Pierre Michel was not watching the corridor.
Any of the three staff members had the opportunity to kill Ratchet when Monsieur Michel wasn't watching the hallway. My little gray cells did not let me down.
So we still are in the same position, but now we need to confront Mr. Mori and Miss Nielsen. Since we're here, we'll go back and talk to Miss Nielsen. She's actually, I believe, a little bit closer. And then let's confront her alibi.
Remind me of what you did when the train stopped in Venice.
No problem. I helped Hotaru load all of the food crates aboard the train. Hotaru had everything he needed, but I realized they forgot half of my order. I spent over an hour on the phone with the supplier, without success. I had to change the dessert menu for tomorrow.
So which one of these is a lie?
Mademoiselle, I believe you're hiding the truth from me.
What makes you say that?
Is it Mr. Michel?
Michel saw Monsieur Mori carrying the crates of food alone. You weren't on the platform.
I did help Hotaru.
The entire time? He carried so many crates, his back was sore.
I'm sorry about that. Okay, I'm guilty. I did leave him before we were finished. But I had to. There was no saffron he needed for a recipe. I volunteered to go into Venice and get him some. The Rialto market would be open late because of the carnival. He gave me money. I knew we weren't supposed to leave the train, but I only wanted to help. Mr. Mori can confirm this. Ask him. I saved dinner.
On behalf of my palate, I thank you. How long were you gone?
I left at 9:10 p.m. and was back with the saffron around 11. That's when I called my supplier for the items I was missing.
Miss Nielsen had almost 2 hours to buy the saffron, find a costume, kill Monsieur Wadi, elude Detective Locke, and make it back to the train for that phone call. Yes, it's possible that was enough time. Thank you, Mademoiselle Nielsen. That is all for now.
Sorry again, Mr. Poirot. I hope you enjoy tonight's dessert.
I must say I'm very suspicious of her. But now let's talk to Mr. Mori, who has a bad back, so somehow he's been able to... He's either lying about the bad back, or somehow he hurt his back from running away. Jumping over everything. But I doubt it. Like, you know, I don't want to be offensive to him, but do you think this guy could outrun the female detective? I don't think so.
I'm sorry, Monsieur Mori, but haven't you forgotten something? You haven't told me about the knives hidden in your room.
Ha! Yes, indeed. I forgot to tell you about those. They are my personal knives. I only use these knives. There are none better. I bought them all in Japan. No one is allowed to touch them except me.
Yep, we have a lie because one of those knives is not from Japan.
I'm afraid you are better at sushi than lying.
What? What do you mean?
And the last, this is what we read. This is definitely not Japanese.
One of the knives has an inscription, Coltelleria Venezia. Did you happen to go shopping tonight, monsieur?
Damn you, Poirot. Very well. One of my sushi knives has been missing since the night of the murder. I thought you were going to believe I killed Ratchet. He routinely sent back my dishes to be ruined. Why does God give rich people the money to afford the best cuisine, but not the palate to appreciate it? I panicked. I know a very good store in Venice. I went to buy a knife to replace the one that had gone missing, so I wouldn't be accused. I assure you that I had nothing to do with any murders.
I would have an easier time believing you, monsieur, if you put that knife down.
Oh, yes, of course. Sorry.
What time did you leave on your little shopping trip?
I left around 9:30 p.m. I was back a little after 11. 11:15 p.m.?
in time enough to stab Monsieur Wadi and return.
Very well, Monsieur Maury. That's all for now. If I have another question...
I'll be right here, cooking.
I don't think he did it. I think it's either the guy or the girl. It's probably leaning towards the guy playing the piano. Alright, so we've done them all, so now let's look at the alibis in Venice. Who doesn't have an alibi for the murder of Mr. Wadi? Well, all three of these, technically.
That's the right answer.
Report to Detective Locke. Where's she at? I guess she might be in the room? I just don't think Maury could, escape from Detective Locke and jump over all the walls and all that. And then the person she was chasing was, I believe, pretty tall, so it makes me think it was him. But who knows, it could be like a trick. The costume could, be playing tricks on his height or the individual's height. Alright, yeah, that's the girl that's had the very sick panic attack. We already got all of the mustaches, so we don't have to worry about none of that.
What have you been doing, Poirot? I am completely in the dark.
I will shine some light on the situation, my friend. I have 3 new suspects who could have killed Ratchet and Monsieur Wadi. Miss Nielsen, Monsieur Fauché, and Monsieur Maury. They all had periods of time during both murders to commit the deed, and their alibis are weak. A visit to family, and not 1, but 2 shopping trips.
But all are my employees.
Alas, yes, my dear book. But we have no proof against any of them. None of the 3 appears to have any motive whatsoever.
But this is a tragedy.
Do not give up hope. We will catch this murderer. There is still one place that may hold the evidence we need.
Geneva.
Exact.
Do not give up hope? Well, that's easy for you to say. But what if it's Freya? What becomes of dessert? If it's Sotaru, who will cook? Me? And the worst, if it's Jean, who will serve the drinks?
I've been checking up on the Banque du Lac. I had to confirm my identity for Interpol, so they contacted my captain at the Berkshire Police.
I suspect he was not pleased.
That my vacation was actually an unofficial investigation? I'll say.
I would be happy to speak to him on your behalf.
Thank you, but he'll get over it. It's a chance to close the books on the Armstrong kidnapping. He stopped yelling, asked for a report, then granted me an extra week.
Excellent. What did you learn from Interpol about the Banque du Lac?
It's had a bad reputation for over a century. Customers have included the mafia, Nazis, corporate swindlers of every description, even heads of state.
It is true, this. It is the worst-kept secret in banking. They take advantage of the bank's strict policy of protecting the anonymity of its clients. This is in defiance of many laws from multiple countries, including Switzerland itself. Of course, I have never taken advantage of such a corrupt system.
That goes without saying, my friend.
There are ongoing investigations, subpoenas, court orders. The bank will eventually have to comply, or its assets may be seized. But until then, it still thrives, thanks to its wealthy and powerful clients.
It sounds perfect for the late Monsieur Ratchet. Do you have any ideas?
The serial numbers from some of the bills match those from the Armstrong kidnapping. We agreed in Venice that the bulk of the money must still be physically in the bank's vault.
I concur, Detective Locke. Exemplary work. So, our next task is clear. We need to get into Ratchet's safety deposit box.
There'll be codes, passwords.
And Monsieur Wadi would, of course, have known them all. The bag of money he carried is proof of that.
We'll need to find information about Ratchet's box in Wadi's office at the bank.
Most assuredly, but remember the secrecy involved. I doubt his office will contain all we need. Where else must we dig?
Where can I find information on Ratchet's safety deposit box? Probably Mr. Wadi's apartment maybe, or Ratchet's diary.
I'm right again. That happens to me a lot.
Mr. Wadi couldn't keep all of his secrets at the bank. Hopefully we'll find something in his apartment. We already have his address thanks to his passport, and his keys we retrieved from his body.
The train stops in Lausanne at 8 a.m. But that's far from Geneva. I can delay the departure until 11 a.m. No later. The police are expecting us in Paris by the end of the afternoon at the latest. They won't tolerate any delay.
The bank doesn't open until 9. I can see only one way that gives us a chance to be on time.
How to go to Geneva? Boat? I'm gonna say taxi.
Let's take a taxi. I checked a map. It should take us less than an hour to get to Geneva from Lausanne, which leaves us just enough time to access that safety deposit box. We have no choice if we want to be back to the train by 11 a.m.
How to search the apartment and the office efficiently, separately of course, which one of us might get attacked.
The best thing is to separate. One of us searches his apartment, the other searches his office. To access the safety deposit box, we need to find the key, the box number, and the passcode.
Suppose you find all this. How do you plan to get into the vault?
Impersonating Ratchet? A search warrant won't work. They'll slow us down.
We are going to use the bank's anonymity policy to our advantage.
And the quickest way is for you to impersonate Ratchet.
I would rather impersonate Jack the Ripper, but in the interest of justice, I will do it.
We need to find the account number.
Along with everything else.
I will say I want access to the vault. They don't ask for papers or even names. The vault information is enough.
I'm not hearing any of this. I run a train company. I don't rob banks.
Perfect. Let's recap the plan.
So put the steps of the plan to the right order. Okay, so we're gonna separate first, probably. Or, go to Geneva with a taxi, then separate. Search Mr. Wadi's office and apartment. Find information about Ratchet's safe. Pretend to be Ratchet. Get into his safety deposit box, and then meet up.
I do not think that's the right answer.
So maybe that?
Et voilà.
To sum up, we're going by taxi to Geneva. Then we'll split up. You're going to search Mr. Wadi's apartment. I'll search the office at the bank. When we have all the information we need, you pretend to be Ratchet, and we can finally find out what Ratchet is keeping hidden in his safety deposit box.
It sounds impossible.
Not for Detective Joanna Locke and Hercule Poirot.
We should get some rest.
You are right, Detective. We face our greatest challenge tomorrow. Together.
I can definitely see video games with her as the main protagonist, Joanna Locke.
Nine o'clock. Our driver did well. It took barely an hour to get here from Lausanne.
But we must conclude our business in 1 hour as well. Book can only hold the train until 11 o'clock.
1 hour to find the key of Ratchet's safety deposit box, the box number, and its passcode. A lot to ask.
Indeed, which is why we must split our forces. I will take the cab to Monsieur Wadi's address. You must search his office.
I have you on speed dial. And thank you, Mr. Poirot.
For what, mademoiselle?
For trusting me.
Has to put his trust into somebody. Man, they got all them cameras and security. Alright, first things first, 3 mustaches. Why does she have the apartment keys if she's not the one that's going to check his apartment? But there's 3 mustaches, so let's look around. There's
Help yourself,
one.
Joanna. You earned it.
Well, you know these people are very shady. You might as well take everything you can from them, because you know they're doing that to others. Looks like that might be all in this room. Well, I'm not seeing any more. There's probably one in the office and one in the apartment.
You there. I have an appointment with Mr. Wadi.
Let me check. I'm sorry, I don't see any appointments this morning at all. Mr. Wadi hasn't even arrived yet. Although he should be here by now.
Convince the clerk to let you enter Mr. Wadi's office as Joanna Locke are anonymous.
Even though your customers are anonymous, considering the amount of money involved, you should still have a mention of a meeting.
Yes, I can't understand it. I'll be sure to ask Mr. Wadi when he arrives. In the meantime, you are more than welcome to wait in his office. I'll see you're not disturbed. Please follow me.
That's right. You gotta act like you're some really fancy individual. Oh my goodness, she is slow. If you're gonna walk that slow, maybe you shouldn't wear those heels, you know? The only good thing is we can kind of look around for a mustache.
I can't understand where Mr. Wadi might be.
He did.
You're right. I don't have much time at all.
He ceases to breathe. Oh ho ho, mustache.
I've earned a gold mustache.
That's what I like. I like to find him easily.
It's closed.
Kind of weird. He's got a thing.
Souvenir Tower of Babel. Makes sense. We know that Mr. Wadi is from Iraq, and the ancient tower is said to have been built there.
Oh, so you can spin it. Ooh. Okay, our thing is we have to try to figure out, does he have like a picture of that tower? I'll say, let me in.
I'm taking a picture of it. I'll send it to Poirot. It might be useful to him.
Oh my, that's very bright. I'm playing this in the dark room, so those flashing of the phone really got me.
Alice in Wonderland. Again. Mr. Wadi seems to have really liked this book.
Do I need to read this? So I see a 2 highlighted, a 2, 3, another 3, 4, 9, 6, 2, well, let's see here. Okay, oh, so yeah, he has it on something. So we'll come back to this after we find whatever that is.
Locked.
Now we gotta find the key.
I need the password. Maybe Poirot can help me.
So we've examined his office, now we gotta go as Poirot. That's pretty cool. Switch between the two.
I managed to get into Wadi's office. I did a quick preliminary search. Everything is locked, including his computer. All I could find was a photo with a date on it. I just sent it to you. Maybe you can use it.
Thank you. That might help. I've just arrived at the apartment. I'll call you when I find something.
As quick as you can. I can't stay here long.
Now we are Poirot. Let me in. Alright, but we're going to stop here today. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the links below. Next time we will search his apartment and hopefully get all the information we need to get into that guy's safety deposit box.